So welcome, Dr. Smita. It's so nice to have you here today.
Thank you.
My name is Alessandrina, and I'm part of the Conscious Women's Empowerment team in the WSS, World System Solutions. And I'm here today to talk with you about women's empowerment and why women's empowerment is important in the world. And so I'd like to begin by asking you simply, like, if you can give us a little bit of information about your background, who you are, what you do in the world, how you serve in the world. That would be wonderful.
Thank you for inviting me on this such a wonderful platform. And I'm so happy to be here, Alexandrina. Thank you again. I am basically heading Ayushakti chain of clinic, which was co-founded together by me and my late husband, Dr. Naram, Dr. Pankaj Naram. And we both started working together as a doctor, you know, and we had a wonderful practice, and we practiced the very old lineage of Siddha Veda, which is 2,500 years old lineage, headed by the physician to Lord Buddha. He was actually treating God Buddha. He was treating a lot of people at that time, and he was one of the most renowned. Knowledge is coming from Vaidya Jivaka to his student, to his student, to his student, and then our master passed it to us. And now my mission is to train hundreds and hundreds of doctors and healers across the world who can heal humanity using this ancient secrets of healing. So for that, we have created Ayushakti chain of clinic, which is supporting every practitioner and the doctors who is interested in practicing this healing system and helping humanity. And we help through this in people from 108 countries across the world. Every year, more than 150,000 people take help from Ayushakti chain of clinics through, you know, different doctors, like more than 100 doctors are helping them. So this is about it, you know, this is what we do. And my focus is to really contribute in people's life so that they get a real health in their life. That's it. That's the main focus.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And through our own experience, Dexter and I, having gone to India and meeting you in India and Dr. Naram, we can really say that, like, what you're doing is really beautiful, soulful, really caring work for others. And so thank you for that. Thank you for your service to humanity. And can you tell us a little bit about why serving others in the way that you do, whether that is, and we'll talk about women's empowerment in a moment, so whether it is women and also men, why this is so important to you and to your soul? What brought you on that path of serving others?
A very good question, Alexandrina. You know what? I have, ever since we started working, you know, my guru said that always take aside a percentage of your income for humanity and put the interest of other angle of seva, the service. So for us, helping other is helping God in others, because we believe that every human being, every living being has a God in them. And when you serve them unconditionally, you serve God. And that's why helping others is the most important for us. It's a seva. I think it's a seva platform on which we stand.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that service and for that commitment to serving God through others and to serving others and the God in them. That's really a beautiful thing. And I know from what I see you do every day when I see your post on Instagram and how much you share with the world, that there's just so much love and caring that goes into, you know, your messages and the way that you empower people into taking care of their bodies and their minds and their emotions and healing, so that they also can be present in the world and grounded and offer others and the natural world and humanity this same kind of love and caring that you do. So thank you for that. Would you share with us a little bit about why you feel that serving humanity and the natural world, because and we'll talk about that too, that you are actually helping, right, in terms of the climate crisis. You're helping plant trees, you're supporting different foundations to help with the climate crisis. So can you tell us a little bit about that, why it's important at this point in time?
Right. So I want to repeat the question because there was something wrong with my internet. I'm so sorry, but you were cracking. So, so you asked the question that you said why it is important to serve humanity, and specifically in the context of climate change. Is it? Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Or was that the question? Yeah.
Yes,
right.
Question. Why is it important?
Okay.
At this moment in time in our history, right, the history of humanity, to serve in this way?
I believe serving have been important for every era of life. In every era of our life, we need to serve each other so that as a community, we support, we progress, we nourish and nurture each other, and we nourish our earth. But at this moment, I think serving specifically our environment is so important besides serving each other. But we need to serve environment for serving each other, because very important. I want to share a very ancient wisdom for this. You know, there is a book known as Sushruta Samhita, which is written 2,500 years ago by a very, very ancient master of surgery. And in this book, there is a chapter on pandemic. Very interesting chapter. In this chapter, the Sushruta Samhita, there is a sloka, and he says that our earth has an immunity of its own. Like we have immune system, which is fighting viruses, bacteria, whenever we are attacked. And we don't even sometimes get the symptom. If our immune system is strong, it will just fight it and we will not even know about it. And we'll get no symptoms on that. Exactly in the same manner, our ecology and earth has an immune system. And this immune system can get hampered, can get spoiled if the earth is abused beyond the limit that it can tolerate. And whenever the immune system is hampered, the viruses and bacteria which are naturally produced in our environment because of any reason, you know, the earth will kill it before even it touches the human being. But if we don't take care of environment, according to this Sushruta Samhita, the time will come when the humanity will abuse the earth and ecology. And because of that, the earth will lose its immune system, and the bacteria, viruses produced in the environment will not be killed, and it will impact humanity, and there will be pandemic coming. Because of that, people will have to stay in their houses, isolated, not meet each other, be with their family, so that family unites, and that family union and love and harmony recreated again will, and the rest, because everything stops, the earth gets kind of a break. And that will again bring back the immune system of earth, and it will come back to its own power. The thing is, we saw that actually happening. I'm so fascinated by this ancient wisdom, which was written 2,500 years ago by this great master, Sushru Samhita. And we experienced that. So, and we have all suffered out of it. Nothing is same anymore after pandemic of COVID. So we need to be now more conscious, more alert, that we need to give our time, effort, energy, money, everything for the causes of climate and environment, so that we can prevent and we can protect the earth, because this is our mother. This is the mother. And if you abuse your mother, it will be wounded, and it will be a wounded femininity. A wounded femininity is always insecure, not confident, always making wrong decisions, sometimes not able to protect the children because that woman, wounded woman, is femininity herself needs a care and healing. Same thing happens to our earth. So we need to learn a lesson from this pandemic, that going back to our ancient wisdom, that this is coming from the abuse to our planet, that we were protected by our mother earth through its own immune system, and now we are not protected. You see, the pandemic, the gap between one pandemic to another is becoming shorter and shorter and shorter. That indicates that earth needs healing, and we all have to come together and serve unconditionally, giving our time, money, effort, everything. That's what I believe. That's why I believe it is very important.
Yes, absolutely. I resonate very much with what you're saying. I had heard you in an interview when you were talking about that situation and the pandemics, and when we look at the rate of chronic illness in the world and how it's related to the depletion of nutrients in the soil, and the way that, you know, the soil has so many chemicals and pesticides, and is even dying.
That's separate.
The topsoil, you know, on the planet is dying. So that makes a lot of sense.
That is separate. That is another issue. The food adulteration, the food scarcity, the instability in food supply, and so many other things, and the chemicals which is creating. For example, I just want to give you one example. Being in the clinic, I've seen it happening, that people who are working with the pesticides, fertilizers, and the chemicals in the earth, they suffer from severe problem of infertility. Men are suffering from erectile dysfunction. Women and men are suffering from confusion, non-clarity in the mind. There are a lot of bigger issues known, but there are a lot of day-to-day issues which are not even recorded, which is impacting the quality of people's life.
Yeah, and their ability to connect.
The kind of a cancer that I am working for 35 years now, and I think on record we have helped more than 2 million people, one-on-one. So I have seen certain type of health issues which were never coming more than 30 years ago. You can see cancer, heart problem, diabetes, just increasing like pandemic completely. And it is connected with what we eat, because the Ayurveda says that ahar, your food, is creating who you are. And if you are not able to create a sustainable environment which is free from chemicals, the earth which is free from chemicals, and the food which is pure and organic, I think that's the main reason we are suffering from more and more and more complicated health issues. Even according to ancient science, and I have seen it happening at this time, they say that genetic issues, there is a science of genetic issues written in Ayurveda 2,500, 3,000 years ago. There is a description of genes and chromosome. I don't want to go in that. There is a description. This is a shocking thing, but it's truth. And they have mentioned that if you don't eat pure food, if you are exposed to too many chemicals through your food, then the genetic issues which are under remission will become active, and humanity will suffer because of that. And we have seen nowadays in our clinic, every day I see so many genetic, completely non-curable problems coming on surface. We all had it in the past, but it wasn't visible, and now it's all coming on the surface. So there are so many impact on different levels of this impure food, unstable food situation, chemicals in the etc.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah, could you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you. It got choppy a little bit. That said, I could hear the core of it about the importance of the diet and how people are eating, and some of what you've been seeing through your experience. And so my question is, are people are they aware of that? Are they connecting the dots? Are they realizing that the way that we are disconnected from the environment, the way that we're disconnected from the process of nature and the process of eating, you know, healthy, natural foods, how that's impacting their, you know, their emotions, their thoughts, their bodies, you know, their capacity to be healthy and vibrant and to have good relationships? Do you find that people are able to see that they realize that in your experience?
Yes and no, because a small percentage of people are very aware, and they are doing their best to support environment and eat pure food. Mm-hmm. But major portion of the humanity is still unaware of this gradual but very destructive type of shift in our health coming from the food directly, coming from eating this chemically polluted food, or not the healthy pure food, you know. So very few people, and there is a huge need to make people aware of this. There's a huge need to create ecosystem organic at a very sustainable cost, because to plant organic food is very expensive. You know, we have spoiled our earth so much that it needs breathing before we even can make it pure. And the farmers cannot stop planting for 2 or 3 years before it becomes, the earth is purified, and then they can create a good crop. So I think there is a need to support them and create massively a system for sustainable farming. I believe in that. Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's so wise what you're saying. And it's so interesting that this wisdom actually exists. There are so many people in the world, whether, you know, it's what you're doing, or scientists, or different agroecological models, different ways in which people in the world have the wisdom and the awareness, and are realizing that we need to all, you know, basically change our way of life and the way that we do things, the way that we farm, yes, the way that we, you know, produce, the way that we consume. And yet that's not in the public, right? We don't, that information is not yet available, you know, to the general public. There's so much polarization and misinformation, and so people are not necessarily empowered with information that can help them make the shift. And also we have this fragmented information all around the world that's not, you know, together, right? So we need a system, right, to come together and work together and share wisdom, right? You have and other people have other pieces, like if we about, for instance, resolving the climate crisis, right? Like a puzzle. And each person has a piece of the puzzle that we can bring to actually bring about a holistic, you know, approach to healing the planet, to healing ourselves. So how do you see us as a humanity? How do you see us, you know, being able to bring that message, to bring accurate, supportive, empowered information to people so that they can work together to, to heal the planet, to heal themselves. And if it's okay to say, what we feel from what you've shared is that the planet is wounded because we're wounded. So we're not taking care of our wounding. And so then we have all these different ways in which we relate to, to the world that creates more wounding, basically.
Yes, true. This is very important what you said, and I agree with that, actually, that we feel wounded, the planet is wounded, it's connected, it's all connected, and I believe the most strongest force on this planet which can bring a change is actually women power. Because if you look at the food chain and the farmers, and especially farming in developing countries like Africa, India, etc., mostly 80% women are connected with farming. They are doing actually hands-on work in the farm. And also women has kind of a very subtle power to influence a family, very subtle powers. And because women has a big advantage, they are fluid. The feminine energy is very fluid, very soft, just like Mother Nature, very nurturing and loving. The healthy feminine energy, which is not wounded, is always nurturing, loving, and caring. And from that nurture, love, and care comes this attachment, that people get attached to their women who is in the center of the family. And if this woman says something, they will listen to her, because mother of the family is always in the center. So I believe the best way would be to really work through a lot of women across the world, make them educated, one, work towards gender equality, because sometimes they have this power, but it's not allowed to speak. So help create gender equality, like really by empowering women to speak up, to create a lot of group where you become a mentor. Like I'm mentoring a lot of women in India, mentors, so that their inner power is coming out. Because I have seen that women are more environmental conscious. They connect more with the earth. When I say women, I would say feminine energy, because even man has feminine energy and women has feminine energy. And we all have also masculine energy. So, and we need little bit masculine and more feminine. So everybody focused on creating this feminine, be in contact with their feminine energy, then the natural nourishment and empowerment, love and care will create it, and it will have a chain reaction. So I believe that we should focus on empowering women by talking to them in groups and helping them to stand up on their feet, so that they can be in touch with their feminine power and spread love and care.
That's a beautiful
message.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Carbon Drawdown, the book, where one of the #1 solution to the resolution of climate change is actually to educate and empower women. So
wow.
Yeah, and so they've listed like the key, core factors that would have the most influence on the resolution of climate change. And #1, when you add up the different aspects of educating, women and empowering them.
I absolutely agree. I agree with you. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So it's it is so important that women in the world are educated and receive empowerment, and that is part of the resolution of the wounding, right, of the feminine, like we were talking about, and part of the resolution of the wounding of our planet. And what I would ask you, and I'd like to share a little story that was very, very inspiring and touching to me when I first met Dr. Naram in the United States. When I walked through the door with my husband, the first thing he said is like, revere the feminine. You know, he said like to be very kind and loving to the feminine. That Shakti energy, the feminine energy, is so important, you know, to be kind to that feminine energy.
Absolutely.
And that it has a lot of power.
Yes, yes.
It does have a lot of power, and it's interesting to think about how, and within the women's empowerment team on the WSS, one of the things that we're doing in addition to empowering and educating women is to understand, as we resolve the feminine wounding, there must also be a process of resolving the masculine wounding so that men and women can collaborate. Because if we empower women and they heal their wound, and the men are not empowered to heal their wound, right? If we just focus on the wounding, then how can they come together and understand each other, relate to each other, appreciate what each bring as qualities, right? For instance, in the resolution of climate change, we all have different ways of seeing, you know, what's happening, and also of envisioning solutions and implementing them. And when the feminine and the masculine can be in harmony, right, and not act from their wounding, then it feels like we have so much greater capacity to, you know, to basically mobilize ourselves as one, as a humanity. And
absolutely, so true, so true. Yes, every human being, their wound has to be healed. There's a simple way somebody can just do every day, one process, and trust me, it will help them. Can I share it?
Please, yes, do. And just so you, to say to people, and I don't know if you'll share a marma that said, we've been blessed to receive marmas from your lineage, and we've been applying them in our lives, the forgive and forget process, for instance, and others, and they've been extremely powerful. So we appreciate that. Yes, please share.
Yes, so one is, of course, forgive and forget marma, which I think you might be using and giving it to others. So I would just quickly repeat that, but I also want to say two more marmas. So forgive and forget is on the left side, left hand. You have at the root of this thumb and the first finger, where the bone is meeting, just inside the bone, you press here like this one, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this marma is for forgiving and forgetting anybody who has hurt you, or even yourself. Some people feel, oh, I haven't been fair with myself. So you need to forgive and forget yourself, and forgive and forget everybody. So just press this and say, I forgive and forget myself. I forgive and forget my mother. I forgive and forget whoever, you know. So just do this 6 times pressing, and slowly, slowly, you will see that your heart is feeling lighter and lighter and lighter. You will offload this complaint. So that was one marma. The second marma, which is very important, which is the heart marma. So I always tell people to, you know, like touch your heart here like this, you know, on the left side where there's heart, just touch there, and then say, I thank you, God, for everything you have given. You just touch and say thank you. Express gratitude for every good thing. Thank you, thank you. And then just pat your heart like this, you know, like this. And this will create a healing in your heart. Do this every day for 6 times, and you such a... Hello?
Yes, I hear you, Dr. Smita.
Yes.
I hear you well.
Oh, great. Yes. So just tapping with your right hand, where there is heart, little bit, like patting yourself and say, oh, I'm so happy. And I'm so grateful. And I'm so thankful for everything I have in my life. Doing that every day will heal you so much, And there's this marma, this index and thumb, you can combine it together like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just, and you can chant Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi is not a religious word. It is a primordial sound, which literally means that I respect myself and I love myself as I am. I accept myself as I am. Aham means me. Brahma is creation. So I accept whoever I am. That is like such a big, simple, primordial mantra that anybody can chant. Aham Brahmasmi, by pressing these two together. Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. After, believe me, 9 or 18 chants, you will feel a peacefulness in your heart, and you will feel you are accepting yourself as you are. Because that's the first thing, that accept yourself. That is the first thing to begin the healing. So these simple things can be done as a meditation every day, just to heal anybody on this planet.
Yes, yes, thank you. And it's so what you're saying is, well, for me, and I know Dexter has used those tools too. They've been so empowering. They've helped us so much to heal our own wounding and to realize we've used the different marmas that you described. And what we feel as you're speaking about, sharing this wisdom, this ancient wisdom with the world, it seems so simple. And at the same time, when we accept each other, right, ourselves and each other, when we feel gratitude for what we have, and when we also forgive the past, right, we let go of everything that's happened in the past, then we're more present. And when we're more present, it feels that we can be more aware of whatever choice we make in life, the implications of our choices. And so then we can make wiser choices in terms of how we live our lives, and whether what we're doing is harming the planet and harming species. So many species are dying, right? And so we can be more in balance. And so, this wisdom is so important. And so a lot of people are not living like that at this moment in time on the planet, and that's why there's disharmony and imbalances, and we're not looking at the implications of our choices. And a lot of consumerism, because people are in so much pain that they turn towards buying things or doing things that they feel will take away their pain momentarily, and it doesn't take the pain away in the long term. So how do you see us as a humanity being able to use this information to empower ourselves and to share it with the world in a way that makes a difference, right? That everyone is empowered, whether it's through the marmas or other ways to be empowered, so that we can be more present, and every day we can connect to the choices we make and understand, right, from our hearts being open, like you're saying, understand the implications of what we're doing for ourselves, for others, for animals, for the nature, for the planet.
Yeah, I always think that birth and the death is not in our hand, but in between what we do is in our hand. And if we leave a legacy behind us for the next generation, so they feel proud of us and they feel grateful to us, I think we have taken the right choices in our life. That's what I feel. So we need to think a bit more wisely that, when we take a choice, what impact it will have for our generation, next generation to come, so that we are not leaving a legacy where they will curse us. They will say, oh, why they did like this?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we leave a legacy where they will be grateful to us, and they'll say, oh, thank God they took this choice so that we have a good life.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to think wisely in between the birth and death, what we do, what choices we take.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that we leave a good footprint on this planet.
Yes, I love that. And it's so important what you're saying about the future generations and our children and their children. Like right now, a lot of them are hurting. You know, they're like, they see how our choices, our prior choices and decisions have led to the results that, you know, the earth right now is hurting, it's wounded. And we're seeing all the dysfunction, all the ways in which that has implications. And a lot of you know, young people feel disempowered, they feel afraid, they feel depressed, they feel like we don't know, you know, where the future is going to take us, or if there's going to be a future for us. So that's so important to realize that when we see that and we care for them, right, caring for the future generations, caring for what they're going to go through if we don't right now change, right? So it's about making the choice right now. And I know you're already living your life like you know, in the way that you're describing. That said, inviting other people to also live their lives like that, thinking about how will this impact, you know, my children, their children, or the if they don't have children, the children of the world, you know, to actually really care, you know, for the children and for what we might leave them, like you said, the legacy that we leave them with.
Yes.
How
Yes.
do you,
Yes.
is something, are you engaging with the, you know, that like the youth, you know, the younger people to also share that wisdom with them? How do you see us as, you know, a humanity helping empower our, you know, the young people on the planet to be able to feel, you know, hope, and to be able to see that there is a way, you know, to change, and that we can create a world that works for everyone, not just for, you know, a few, and that doesn't destroy the planet, that actually cares and continues to sustain, you know, the planet in a healthy way.
I think we can only teach it, but just by being that way, first of all, ourselves. Because children are constantly learning, not from what we talk, but how we are, how we are being. If we are being always caring and taking care of the earth and environment, and also surrounding around us, taking care of each other, then our children also grow with the same culture and same habit, you know. So the best way is to just be who you are, be in touch with our real nature, because we are not born naturally to spoil the earth. It comes from a greed to do more. It comes from a nature which is coming from wounded masculine or wounded feminine, you know, not a healthy feminine or masculine energy. So and I think we just have to be in touch with our true nature, which is nourishing, nurturing, helping each other, and taking care of the environment. So just by being, I think we can do it, and creating a eco structure, a system which supports everybody who wants to be that way. Because sometimes you want to be that way, but there is no support. You don't know how. So if there are a group of people together in bringing pieces together in a systematic manner, like you are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're familiar with the SME, right? What the WSS is doing, creating a
yes.
engine, meaning an infrastructure
Yes.
where people can receive the education, can heal their wounds,
Yes.
can
Yes.
generate solutions and also implement solutions, and also come together and collaborate to create those solutions, the feminine and the masculine and all the different, you know.
Absolutely. So fabulous.
I lost you for a moment, Dr. Smita. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I need to actually. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just trying to figure out what's happening. Anyways, yes, I can. Yes.
Yeah,
Please.
so yeah, social movement engine is that structure, right? It's a structure that is being right now built that will allow humanity to come together in this way, to receive the education, to receive the conscious, loving empowerment, to receive the support,
Yes.
to heal the wound,
Yes.
and to really,
Yes.
we can be stuck in our ways sometimes, you know, like if you look on the planet, like people, because we've done things a certain way, because we've used plastic, because and sometimes we kind of get stuck, not thinking outside of the bubble in which we created, you know, the prior solutions, right? The plastic bottle was good,
Yes.
time when we needed to bring
Yeah.
into places where people couldn't have, you know, clean water. And now we realize that we created a real long-term problem. The plastics are now in our food, in our water, air, you know, affecting everyone.
Everywhere.
So coming together,
Yeah.
wisdom, the wisdom that you're sharing and the wisdom that others are also holding, the wisdom of the ancient traditions and science, and blending all of that so that we can really start to generate solutions that are actually sustainable and that don't harm us, don't harm the environment, and create all the suffering, right? There's so much suffering in the world as a result of things
Absolutely.
not being generated, you know, in a way that is really thought through, you know, from beginning to end, and that brings the loving, nurturing
Yes.
of the feminine, not just a, you know, tunnel vision that doesn't see the whole, right? That doesn't see, you know, the implications and the interactions of everything with everything, because we're all interconnected. So yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Is there anything else? I know it's late for you, Dr. Smita, so I don't want to keep you, you know, much longer. That said, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the world, you know, in regards to conscious women's empowerment or the climate crisis, to empower people, to mobilize, to take action, to feel empowered, and to feel also hope? And because if we go into despair and feeling like we can't do anything, then we're not going to bring our energy and our resources online to really help. And in this moment, from what we understand, from what science is saying, they're saying we have 7 years to act, you know, quickly, to be able to
Wow.
not go beyond certain, they call, you know, they say that there's boundaries that we're basically crossing, and as we cross different boundaries, then we get a situation where there can be such instability in the climate and in the whole functioning of the planet that it can be, according to science, irreversible. So in those 7 years, what would you offer as a message for people to, you know, to mobilize themselves, to engage themselves, and to see the value of doing it just like you are?
Yeah, I would just like to say only two things. Number one, change always begins from us. Many times we are thinking that, okay, somebody else has to come on this planet and lead it and then bring the change. But I think we can take small steps in our life to change, and that will just create like a magnified chain reaction in the society, and many people doing it themselves will bring a big change. The second thing is that we should support organization like WSS in every ways, you know, because it's helping, it's trying to collaborate and bring in efforts of everybody on one platform. It's a huge vision. It's a massive mission, and everybody, I urge them to support this cause by giving their time. I am going to donate, as you know already, and I am offering my services even for healing massively. If you need my help to teach people free of charge how to heal themselves, if they are wounded, what can be done, the whole process of healing, I can do that. So a lot of such people has to come front, giving their time, money, energy, efforts to a platform like WSS. So I would urge that let's all donate whatever we have to support, so that this platform can bring in for planet and Earth.
Thank you so much, Dr. Smita, for that message. That's so inspiring and soulful and caring of you to say that and to help others understand, you know, that even if we have just 1 hour a week or 1 hour a month or whatever we can give, however we can show up to create a new world, right? A world that is healthy, a world that is joyful, a world that is, you know, really that cares, that where we all care for one another. And by caring for one another and showing up in this way, we can transform the planet, and we can transform the way we do things. So
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time and your care and all that you do in the world, all the service that, you know, you bring into the world. We are so grateful for you. And we're so grateful, you know, for your time right now on, you know, during this interview with us. Thank you, Dr. Smita. And we will.
I'm so happy, and thank you.
And thank you for your offer.
Thank you for inviting.
To help.
Thank you for inviting me, and I am always there. I will, as I promised you, I will keep donating some resources from Ayushakti to this WSS platform, and my time, energy, every ways, I'm there with you. This cause is in my heart, and I urge everybody to support it.
Thank you so much. I feel that so strongly. Thank you. Thank you so much.